Now that rounded arch project is a good example of how adding something new to a house can make it a lot more enjoyable. My next project is about taking something old and making it good as new. I'm headed to Rochester, New York, and I'm going to pay a visit to Phyllis McKenzie. Hi Phyllis, how are you?
Hi Ron.
So nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you and welcome to Rochester.
Well, thank you very much. What a gorgeous neighborhood this is. Oh, these
like
trees and flowers. Oh, I love your garden.
Do you?
There's color everywhere. Oh, this is beautiful. So you've got a couple passions. You've got gardening and antiques. Tell me about today's project.
It's a wonderful old dresser that I stripped. It was painted white, or I would have never stripped it. Stripped it about 10 years ago, and I just then put it aside because I'm not real good at refinishing, and I was afraid of it. I was afraid I'd ruin it completely. And then I heard about you, and I thought, golly, maybe this guy can really help me, make it look like it should.
So we have an opportunity today to finish a project that you started a decade ago.
That's right.
I love it. Let's do it. Take a look.
Well, we're ready for you, Ron. We have the drop cloth down. Here's the piece that needs attention.
Okay. I'd say what, about a mid-1800s, something like this?
I think so.
Okay. Well, let me show you what I see here. This is some of the old finish that you didn't get off right here.
That's
so
right.
let me just strip that off. Over here, we got some watermarks. You want to get rid of those.
Yeah.
And what is this?
Some oil, I believe.
Oil, okay. So let's try to clean this up, get rid of all of that, and then I want to talk to you about putting some stain on here, and then ultimately a finish.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Now, Phyllis, this is a semi-paste stripper. It's kind of thick, but it's good because a few of these surfaces are vertical. This won't run off as quickly.
I see.
Now, the key about putting stripper on, I've found, and you've done a fair amount of refinishing yourself. I'd like to just put this on with a minimal amount of brushing. Just lay it on like that. Overbrushing causes the stripper's active ingredients to evaporate before they can do their job.
How am I doing?
Doing very good. Yeah, that's good. Now, we're going to stop here in a second because we want to catch this before it dries out. In fact, let's come back over here where we started and do a little test. Okay, It's only been about 2-3 minutes. You see, this is not releasing yet. See, that's the finish right there, that white. So we just want to let this sit now and let the chemicals do all the work for us. So I'll just give us a few more minutes. After another several minutes, it's obvious to us that the putty knife's not going to get the old finish off. So we switched to steel wool. Now this is a little bit more stubborn than I thought it would be, but the steel wool here is taking off. This is a medium coarse steel wool, and I'm going with the grain, of course. Well, you know that. Right. And you can see right here we're getting that finish off. This brown stuff right here, that is the old finish. Now this is lacquer thinner. It's a solvent. I like to use it for a couple of reasons. It tends to neutralize the stripper, and some strippers have wax in them. So this helps kind of remove the residual wax from the stripper before you do any finishing. While Phyllis cleans up the top of the dresser with lacquer thinner, and we make sure there's plenty of cross ventilation for this, I begin to apply fresh stripper to the next level. We're working on small areas at a time so the stripper won't dry out. Getting the old finish out of turnings, carvings, and intricate moldings requires a special tool. This is a brass bristled brush, like a toothbrush. It'll make short work of that. Just takes it right off.
Yeah, it really works.
Section by section, we apply stripper, work the old finish off with steel wool, and neutralize the surface with lacquer thinner. Well, this came out surprisingly well. You know, even that oil spot down there, the stripper got rid of. But we still have some very stubborn spots right here and right here. These are probably watermarks. The way we're going to get rid of these is with something called oxalic acid. You'll find this in a hardware paint store under wood bleach. Now we want to add this to some hot water, as hot as you can get it out of the tap. The hotter the better. Oops, going to dribble a little bit there. And we'll just put in a couple of tablespoons, and that should be good. Then we'll just take a brush and mix this up, and then we'll paint this right down here on these watermarks. Now, I could just put this on the area that's got the ring, but there is some discoloration all over the top of this, so I'm just going to apply it to the entire surface here. Okay, Phyllis, would you mind doing the bottom shelf down there?
Not at all.
Okay, now unlike the stripper, we can keep brushing this as we want to kind of work it into the wood, so until it really soaks in. As soon as the oxalic acid dries, leaving a powdery residue, we rinse it off using a sponge in warm water. Now this mark down here came out quite well with the oxalic
Yeah, it really
acid.
did.
Yeah, it really did.
Really
But this one up here is still there. So I'm going to try a little bit of, this is just household bleach in diluted in water. I've got about 1 part bleach to 5 parts water.
Remember, there are no hard rules to furniture stripping. If something's not working, well then experiment.
Now the bleach removed just about everything. There were some very faint marks left, so we're sanding these out now with some 100 paper, and then I'll move up to a 150 grit for a final sanding before we stain. Yeah. Okay, fellas, why don't you finish this up? I've got something to take care of.
Oh,
okay?
all right, I will.
I'll be right back.
Sure will.
Oh, this is going very well. Very well, very nice.
Right, well, I wondered where you went.
I had a planning meeting.
Oh, did you? Oh, all right.
Okay, well, we'll dust this off now, and then we're just about ready to stain. Nice work.
All right.
Very nice work.
A good wipe down with a tack cloth will remove any dust or gritty residue that may have been left over from the sanding.
Okay, well, it's time to stain.
All right.
I'm going to suggest that we use this gel stain. So let's apply this with a brush, starting up here at the top. Oops, I made a little drop there.
I like gel-type stains because they're easy to control. They minimize drips, runs, and splashes, and they can be applied with a cloth or a brush. I make sure to thoroughly work them into crevices, details, and carvings.
The instructions for this stain say to stop after about 3 minutes and wipe off all the excess. So we'll do this in sections. Let us wipe, okay? Just a cloth. So you just want to wipe this pretty much with the grain, long strokes like this. All the way down.
All stains should be wiped off after they've had a chance to penetrate the wood. The more pressure you apply and the longer you wipe, the more stain is removed. Here too, experiment to find out what works best. Just some stripper, stain, and elbow grease has transformed this once ordinary piece into something very special.
The stain has to dry for 24 hours, then it'll need some kind of a top coat.
Yes.
What do you have in mind?
I think tongue oil.
Okay, 2 or 3 coats?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
It'll look gorgeous. And then after a decade,
A decade.
finished, huh?
Oh, yes.